The Inn at the End of Things is an Acorn Arts and Entertainment podcast, independently produced by a small group of creators in Southeast Michigan. Since we run the show ad-free, we rely entirely on support from listeners like you to keep the Inn's hearth fire burning through the night. You can support us and receive bonus content with a one-time donation at www.acornartsandentertainment.com/The Inn, or by joining the Hall of Patrons within our Patreon community. Even the price of a cup of coffee goes a long way to keeping the lights on for our little inn. As folktale enthusiasts instead of academics, this is your friendly reminder that our folk and fairy tales come from the older, grimmer end of the woods and can contain material not suitable for all audiences, so listener discretion is advised. And recommended for your 5-star stay with us, the inn is best experienced somewhere cozy with a good blanket. Thanks so much for your support, and welcome. Pilgrim, come in, come in. Almost didn't see you there through all this pea soup. Good for you, bumping up against our doorstep in the worst fog we've had for decades, here at the Inn at the End of Things. Went out for eggs this morning and couldn't see my hand waving hello to my face. Now make sure that door's well shut. We don't need any more fog-brained ideas tramping in here with you. Things try to lurk and leer around the edges sometimes, as if they could just slide their way in under the stoop. Ha! The nerve! I had 2 nightmares doing their best to pass themselves off as pixies, trying to sneak their way past the threshold not even an hour ago. Well, that's a sting to the backside they won't be forgetting any time soon. 7 leagues is a long way to get punted. They won't be back, I can promise you that. Still, about time to have Cook and Kath check the wards again anyway. Once we can see our noses to spite our faces again, of course. Well, now that you've got most of the cold and fog shook out of your coat, let's see. Good Lord, unhinge that jaw before it snaps from all the tension. You'll lose your lips grimacing like that, till there's nothing but a hard line left. Yes, now that's better. Let's massage your jaw gently, without tensing your shoulders, just giving some nice warmth back into your neck and jaw. Feel where your jaw connects to the rest of your head. Try to give some nice, easy strokes down. Keep breathing in and out, and in again and out. We'll keep that going as we pull gently down with our finger strokes, applying a little gentle pressure, wiping the tension down and away from our cheekbones and our neck. That's good. And now we're going to make little clockwork circles. That's it, right where your jaw meets the rest of your head. If you need to yawn or stretch, get all the crunchies out of that jaw, you do exactly as you please, wiping all the tension away. That's right, just like little beads of sweat. That pressure's been wiped off and away. Ta-ta! It can be so hard carrying the extra gray around when you just want to walk in a bit of sunshine. Pilgrim, I have an idea. Have you been to our solarium yet? Yes, I think that'll be just the thing for the foggy doldrums. Nothing a bit of green and some old antique glass can't fix. Come along, we'll have you fixed up in no time. I believe Aidyn is just moving the pots around to share the light among our outdoor transplants. We always bring in some of our potted residents when the cold winds blow, so that we may greet them again when they reawaken in the spring. Wish I could see it their way more often. Plants just see winter as a very long siesta. Of course, we do everything in our power to keep their stay restful throughout the cold season. Nobody likes waking up in the middle of the night, even if that night lasts 4 months out of the year. Here we are. You recall our greenhouse, yes? Still lovely and warm this time of year. As you can see, those roses are thriving in here. Still the most astonishing color. Care for another kumquat? Oh, and you can see the snake flower is doing just fine, dangling away. But how about that one there? The one near the black dahlias? I'd say that looks familiar, doesn't it? Yes, it's been flourishing since you planted it here. Look how big it's gotten. I think our gardener was right again. Aidyn, are you still here? Oh, Pilgrim, you won't need your coat. We keep it right around 75 degrees in the indoor orchard. Mind the hanging plants at the door, and you can hang your coat right on that hook. Aidyn?
Well, bless me. I didn't think you'd make good on your promise and help me lug these pots around. And you brought help? Who's this now? No, don't tell me. Not a sunflower, bright but not tall enough. Not a dandelion either, although you sure are stubborn. Tenacious. Roots go deep, but you don't believe your wishes enough yet. You're an orchid! Yes, a rare blossom that grows where it shouldn't and offers the rarest hues and perfumes despite every evidence to the contrary. Caladinia cairnsiana. Always a pleasure to meet a rare bloom. I am Dr. Aidyn Swankin, but you may call me Aidyn. You've met the family by now? Yes, Arlen has quite the crush on you. I basically know everything about you already. Welcome to our solarium, even if it's technically a conservatory.
Now, we've been over this before. A conservatory has more traditional lines and architecture, while a solarium is a more modern glass structure. Besides, a solarium is entirely enclosed, while a conservatory shares a wall with the adjacent building.
Precisely. Victorian architecture hasn't been modern for a couple centuries now.
I suppose you're right. You usually are. Botanists.
We like precision. Science thrives on detail. Here, Blossom, why don't you help me with this lemon tree here? If you'll pick her up, I'll just swap her in with this beautiful ginger. She shouldn't be too heavy. That's it. Lift with your knees. I know she's light, but we'll still give your back a break.
That papaya is looking just as happy as can be. Ah, I love your indoor orchard, Aidyn. I never knew you could have a whole fruit orchard inside a house until the good doctor grew one for us.
Helps when you've got good glass and your trees are all tucked away in pots. An orchard full of bananas, papayas, and guava. and lemons and limes and figs sheltered from the elements within a glass dome. We are blessed to be bountiful together this winter, to cultivate good ground together with our guests wherever they need to be rooted. Although they do get heavy on rearranging day, plants follow seasons just like we do. More light, less light, more fertilizer, less fertilizer, more water, less water. Sometimes we have to dust out our corners and try out a new window to find our angle and discover the right lighting.
You had to remind me. Pilgrim, I'm back to dusting out corners on the main floor. Aidyn, our guest has a touch of the doldrums. Perhaps this would be a good time to show the different domes of the solarium. Nothing like wandering through different types of plants in their natural environment on a cold, gray day. Takes your mind to good places and helps with those cortisol levels. Perhaps some time in the tropical maze will bring some color back into your cheeks. Enjoy your time here, and I'll be back for some persimmons once chores are done. Cook's request for tomorrow's pudding.
She took you in right away, didn't she? She has a way of doing that with us little birds, no matter where we fly in from. I've been keeping an eye on a certain little sprout of yours in the greenhouse that has been showing great promise. You saw it on your way in. Beautiful growth over the last few weeks. The root structure has been quite impressive. It's hardy enough to grow out there with the rest of the experimental variations. We keep the solarium for our pickier clientele. Some plants just need different care when they're traveling outside their native environment. We are proud to offer solutions for all our root-bound guests when they arrive with 7 different climate-controlled biomes here in the solarium. I know it doesn't look like much from the outside, but nothing's ever what it seems in this place. Now, if you'll just roll that banana tree over here, that one's on casters for a reason. That's great. And we'll just slide the weeping fig in here and we're done. Isn't she beautiful in all her mournful glory? You're beautiful. Back to sleep now. It's still winter, so most of these aren't fruiting, but some will surprise you. They're mostly hibernating, need less water and food, but I'd like to keep an eye on the sunlight rotation so nobody's getting crispy leaves while they're sleeping. I pull my siblings in here to help when I can, but it's a lot of work looking after a full conservatory with 5 different temperature-controlled domes, fully sustainable watering systems, not to mention maintaining the garden, food forest, and a greenhouse full of experimental plant cultures. We have our help from several visiting clans of gnomes and various gardening societies, volunteers, but still, it's hard work. I know. I didn't think it could be real when I started either. But here we are, growing heaven together. Now, would you be up for a stroll? I've got a little task that needs looking after here in the tropical maze while I wheel this Peruvian apple cactus into the desert dome. So, to start, we have the indoor fruit orchard in the first room of the solarium. And if you'll just get that door for me while I wheel her out. Thank you. You can see why I don't leave this room in the winter. Never dips below 85 Fahrenheit at 55% humidity. The other domes are right through here. You'll want to skip through the taiga and the tundra if you choose to go wandering. Those cold boreal climates are no joke in the winter. But I can also recommend the desert dome, the savanna grasslands, the wetland marshes, or the coral and kelp aquarium if you're looking to stay warm. Feel free to wander as much as you like. Fair warning, Don't pick anything. Some of the plants in here are more than happy to pluck back, and we like you leaving with all your digits attached to you. I'm off to the desert dome with this Sirius repandus to get her replanted. There is a moonflower that grows in the center of the hedge maze, just beyond that curtain of passionflower vines to your right. Here's a watering can with a little of my own special solution mixed in to help stimulate leaf growth in a couple of months. You just aim for the roots, not for the leaves. You'll know when you're getting close when you start smelling jasmine dipped in vanilla. It's the one with the big white flower that looks like a morning glory on steroids. The maze tends to lean a little to the left, and all exits meander back to the beginning, so you're quite safe. Yellow bricks on the path lead to the center of the maze. Red bricks lead back to the beginning. Don't be surprised if you see the odd gnome going about their business. They're shy around the big folk and will probably disappear quick if you catch a glimpse. Don't feed the carnivorous plants if you can help it, and if the butterflies or fairies land on you, don't touch the wings. Door? Thank you. I'll wheel this enormous darling to the back and finish my field notes on the antigraph air plants that just started pollinating. They're floating around the saguaro cactus grove as happy as you please. It's my first time hosting Aerial Tillandsia, and we want to make a good first impression. Remember, you'll water the roots of the moonflower, not the leaves, and you can't get lost, so enjoy yourself.
Well, hello there. You've made it. Congratulations, human. You've made it to the very heart of the Solarium tropical maze. Welcome to the center of the garden. Down here. No, not the bench. The devastatingly handsome stone fellow sitting next to the bench. Hi, name's Greg. Not Gregory. Just Greg. I know. It's a common name among gargoyles, but promise. Just Greg. Good to meet you. Welcome to the best spot in the Solarium. That I know of. I don't know of many other spots, actually, since I'm pretty much planted here. Solid marble, and proudly so. None of your flaky formicas. No. Welcome, human, to Greg's Bench. I look after this corner of the garden and help keep Dr. Aidyn Swankin up on the latest news from the flora and fauna around here. Sort of a guardian spirit, you know? Terrible burden to bear, of course, being a protector and defender of all. Are you looking for the moonflower? Of course you are. There she is in all her glory. I figure you just followed your nose here like everyone else. She's a happy lady, all right. I hear that they can be a little tricky when they grow up in other places. Moonflowers only bloom at night, you know, and each blossom only lasts until the first rays of sunshine through the windows. But this fine vine is always producing flowers. So every night, there's a shower on the ground of last night's petals, feeding the soil around her so she grows even more luscious and beautiful the next day. Don't be surprised if you see a bat pop over for a drink. They love the moonflowers, and they won't bother you. You don't smell like jasmine flavored soft serve. No offense. If you just water around her roots there, the moonflower would probably let you take a flower away with you. It won't last long out there, but she likes to give a little gift away to the people who come and water her. She says it's her way of watering you back. Flowers can be so fragile, can't they? So temporary. But everything can be fragile. Even solid marble crumbles one day. We spend so much time building up our armor, piece by piece and layer by layer, thinking it will shield us from the world. Humans build up your armor, your fortresses to keep the world out. Take a slab of granite here and some well-worked iron there. If we just figure out how to make it light enough, more durable, more impenetrable. But the rocks know. The rocks always know. Nothing lasts forever, and no armor can keep out the world. Human, have you heard how Snapping Turtle went to war? This story is so old that no one alive can even remember the reason for the war. Not even those of us made from stone. This was back in the first days when humans did not hold themselves at a distance from the rest of the world and all were equals on the earth. In those days, Mikinaak was a warrior, and he led a vast army of hard-shelled snapping turtles against the Anishinaabeg people. Many warriors died bravely as the war raged on, but finally, the tide turned in the people's favor, and Mikinaak watched as his sons all died one by one in battle. Mikinaak was captured, and the Anishinaabeg gathered to decide what was to be done with him once and for all. Some of the Anishinaabeg started talking about chopping off his head. Others wanted to cook him and make him into soup. But Mikinaak was clever, and he pleaded out from his cage, "Please, don't throw me in the lake. I don't want to drown." The Anishinaabeg cheered and carried him to the lake, where they took him out to the deep water and threw him in. But Mikinaak was quick, and he flipped his tail, swimming away as fast as he could, narrowly escaping. Well, the people were pretty furious at being tricked so easily, so they called out to Ingig, the otter, as they raced after Mikinaak in their canoes. "Please, brother, help us," they cried. Well, the otter thought that the war had gone on long enough, so he leaped into the water with a bark. Many animals gathered along the banks of the river to watch Ingig and Mikinaak race through the water, including Anishinaabeg, the thunderbirds, circling high above the trees. Their interest proved to be in Mikinaak's favor as Ingig drew in close, for suddenly a bolt of lightning hit a nearby limb, flashing light across the river valley and nearly blinding many in the process. In the confusion that followed, Mikinaak escaped. When he got home, that snapping turtle only had revenge in his heart and greed in his head. He turned to the other animals and riled them up with threats and promises of what the Anishinaabeg would do to their families over time if unchecked. He told stories from the war mixed with all sorts of lies to make many animal clans afraid of the humans. And suddenly, before he knew it, Mikinaak had raised another army, an angry, enraged army with many animal clans gathered together in the forest. In fact, maybe they were a little too angry. Mikinaak realized maybe he has done his job a little too well, with too much rage. You see, the bears could eat him, and the moose could trample him, and the badgers could easily shred him with one paw, and the eagles could fly him to the highest point and drop him on the ground if he wasn't careful. Any one of these animals could stage a coup and take over. So, the next day, Mikinaak inspected each of these troops from different clans and declared them unfit for, as he explained, one very simple reason. They didn't come with armor. He dismissed the bears and the moose and the badgers and the eagles with a wave of his claw and turned to the last group to show up, the Painted Turtle Clan. And yes, I suppose technically they had shells, very brightly colored, delicate little shells, which I guess was good enough for Mikinaak. "My Misquedesi cousins," he said impressively, "what do you do when attacked?" And those adorable little painted turtles tucked away into their shells so fast you'd think they were hiding supper in there. "This will have to do for armor," said Mikinaak. "It is with these I will go." Needless to say, Mikinaak and his army of tiny turtles were defeated almost immediately. It wasn't even a contest. At the first sight of the Anishinaabeg spears, the painted turtles tucked themselves into their shells and surrendered. And once again, the Anishinaabeg people found themselves wondering what to do with the caged and enraged snapping turtle, Mikinaak. Ingik, the otter, suggested coolly that they throw Mikinaak back into the lake. The Anishinaabeg chuckled at his joke, but listened and did as he said, tossing the turtle back into the large lake. The snapping turtle laughed triumphantly as he sped away yet again. Would these fools never learn? But this time, the otter had a plan. Ingik swam swiftly for the river mouth, blocking the entrance for the big turtle. Mikinaak snapped and tried to get around the otter, but Ingik held his ground and let the turtle tire himself out in the mighty tides of Lake Huron. The animals gathered on the lake shore, just as they had before, and Mikinaak could see them cheering the otter on as they battled in the churning surf. The great turtle and the otter battled for hours, back and forth in the waves, but Mikinaak was tiring. He sent out a final prayer to his ancestors to lend him their strength, just as the thunderbirds gathered in the skies above. Ingik dealt him a final blow in the water, just as the Anishinaabeg cried overhead, and a mighty crash of lightning struck Mikinaak, the great snapping turtle, in the back. His ancestors heard him, and his body grew and grew and grew, and slowly his furious eyes closed, and he was turned into the great turtle island, the mighty Mackinaw. Armor only gets you so far. Imagine if that snapping turtle had united the bears and the moose and the badger and the eagles and so on and so forth. Well, I suppose those Great Lakes would be short of one pretty big island, wouldn't they? Those lakes are only great because they pour into one another. The only reason Lake Superior is any kind of superior is because of the other lakes around it. And glaciers. Glaciers sure do help. My point is, we're strongest when we come together, not when we try to hide behind armor. Take me for an example. I used to be a great warrior within my Gargoyle clan and held my own armor in the highest regard. It was passed down to me by my father and his father before him. When my clan was betrayed, I hunted the rogues down to the ends of the earth in revenge. But vengeance did not bring peace, human. only more shattered armor and more splintered lives. These days, I am far more content to guard my moonflowers and my bench and the rock fountain and that little family of geckos that like to sun themselves on my shoulder sometimes. I move from time to time at night when I choose, but that is rare these days. And besides, you would not notice it. Gargoyles move very, very slowly. Much better to sit and contemplate life from Greg's bench. There she goes. If you look over your shoulder, human, that white flower is yours to take back with you when you go. A gift. She says she likes the cracks in your armor. She says you let a lot more light in, and it's easier to water you than other humans. She says, thank you, and she hopes this gift touches your soul, that the fragrance waters your roots. You are a gift, human, and welcome to stop by my bench anytime. You can follow the red bricks back to the beginning of the maze if you'd like, or you can walk through that door with the bronze handle. It will take you to the grasslands. There is no wrong path, and I know you'll enjoy wandering for a while. But Greg's going to stay right here for the rest of the night and contemplate the hunting grounds of glaciers while you young things go rushing about. Always remember where your true armor lies, in the relationships you forge and the love you invest in others. There is no finer thing than to be a rooted old rock that can still sing, to growl with gravel and rumble with the roots, where rivers will unravel and redwoods send out shoots, to know the minds of mosses and all mineral pursuits, sitting steady and strong at the heart where he belongs. There's no finer thing than a gargoyle who sings. Good night, human.
Ah, there you are. And I see that she gave you a moonflower. Well, I'm glad she liked the compost tea. I'll have to make a note of that for next week.
Welcome back, Pilgrim. Did you get to meet Greg? Isn't he a treasure?
He didn't tell you of all his old battles, did he? It can be easy enough to get trapped on that bench for hours while he talks about aerial battle formations against medieval cavalry.
Many of us have known many lives before our paths bring us here, and some stories tend to take the scenic route, depending on the teller. But I have only ever found his battle epics to be quite enthralling. I'm sure he'd love to tell you more, given half a chance, Pilgrim.
Oh, I'm sure he would. He loves the company. Speaking of, here you go. This little seed has come from our little sprout that you planted in the greenhouse. I've consulted my text, and it should be perfectly ready to plant wherever and whenever you like. It's a tenacious little plant. That seed will grow in whatever you put it in. Nicely done.
Wonderful. A fallen flower and a first seed all on the same night. A fine cure for the winter grays if I ever did see one. Now then, the hour grows late, Pilgrim. You have your key should you choose to wander back to your room with your bed and quilts and a good hot water bottle. The key will show the way back to the door with your lucky number. But now, you hold in your hands some gifts that will return with you. The moonflower will never leave your memory now that it has been given. All you have to do is close your eyes, recall the moonflower scent, and you will return to the little bench with its little rock fountain and the great stone guardian nestled among the tropical plants of the grand solarium. This seed is now also yours to hold on to as long as you wish, waiting for the right day or the right conversation for you to plant it into good, fertile soil. It comes from the seeds you chose, nourished by your fertilizer and fruited from what you put into it. I have no doubt this seed will flourish wherever you choose to plant it in your life. Feel free to wander the rest of the solarium for the rest of the night, as long as your feet wish to carry you. The good doctor and I have a bag of persimmons to deliver to the kitchens for tomorrow's pudding. But in the meantime, follow your heart where it wanders through the paths and the domes, amid the plants and the fine stone guardians that keep their safety. It is sure to lead you to the perfect rest at the heart of the maze, here at the inn at the end of things. You've been listening to The Inn at the End of Things, an Acorn Arts and Entertainment production. Tonight's tale featured performances by Krystle Delihue as Aidyn the Gardener, Jonathan Jones as Greg the Gargoyle, and Luna Alexander as the innkeeper. Tonight's episode was written by Luna Alexander, with production support from Josie Eli Herman and Michael Allen Herman. As our evening draws to a close, we'd like to pause here within our Hall of Patrons to thank the many wanderers, voyageurs, and fellow night owls who keep our hearth fires burning long into the night. Whether you're a member of our Patreon community or have donated independently, we salute you and say thanks. We couldn't do it without your support. This week's list of hallowed heroes includes Sarah McNitt, Amanda Logston, Jason Such, Brian LeDuc, Ruth Needler, Joanna Corina Palaska, Chris Hoffman Kraske, Patricia Tuma, John Stanford, Lindsay Harris Friel, Robin Schwalanek Krenzel. A special thank you to the Plymouth Community Arts Council for their sponsorship of our first season, and a reminder to support your local arts communities. May your generosity be returned threefold wherever the road finds you. Good night.